Anybody with a memory of farming back in 1987 will probably remember a very wet harvest. Combines were starting to look like the Titanic and were being fitted with dual wheels just to stay afloat. And the tractors and trailers were being left sat on the headlands. No on the move empty in this harvest. So, do we try and forget the year 1987 in the farming calendar? I think not. Why not, you may ask? Well, let me put this to you. Would you forget the date 1066 just because of a war? No, of course you wouldn't. Or would you remember 1966 when England produced a winning team? Yes, I think you would. So, in fact, it proves that great events stick in the mind. Well, in the year that is in question, 1987, it's fair to say the UK, well, the part in Essex called Basildon, produced like England in 1966, a world-class winner. I bring you the Ford 7810. This particular one here that we're going to look at is a late 1991 Generation 3 tractor, and like a brilliant thoroughbred racehorse that's contentedly eating in a paddock after being retired, this 7810 is also now drinking the diesel juice at its own leisure. When I bought this tractor, needless to say, the old signs were creeping in that age was starting to take its toll. But anyhow, that's enough about me. As for the 7810, the odd rust patch was beginning to take over. The brakes were as effective as a lawnmower with no blade, and the tyres were more impressive than Michael Schumacher's slickest of slick rubber. So, like a hedgehog hiding away to recharge its batteries, the barn doors were opened and the 7810 was put away for a makeover. Over the next few years, yes I did say years unfortunately, the 7810 was pampered, much like your Labrador dog at home. So much pampering in fact that it took most of my time up. And like a fine wine, as time slowly went by, the 7810 became more and more better. So eventually, like the caterpillar emerging from, well, in this case its barn, a transformed butterfly appears. Okay, nice image, but a revitalised, freshly painted and false corrected Ford 7810 saw the light of day once again. The Ford 7810 now offered farmers a 6-cylinder 100 horsepower machine, all within the same size of the Ford's best-selling 4-cylinder Ford 7610 tractor. In simple terms, if you had a Hoover vacuum cleaner, you now have a Dyson. The Generation 3 model gave the operator food treats inside the cab, a digital dashboard for one that displayed in bar graph form fuel, oil pressure, battery charge and temperature. Now this kind of bar graph I would take home for homework. Air conditioning was fitted to keep you cool on those hot summer days, though a great bonus, the only downside to this in my opinion, is when the aircon is running, all windows and doors should be kept shut. Well, like a bunch of beautiful people on a beach in the height of summer, do you really want to see them wrapped up in hats, coats and gloves? No, you want to keep taking sneaky look at the amount of flesh on display, and this is why the Ford 7810 needs to have that sunroof on. The look of the Super Coupe cab is gorgeous enough on its own, with its 4 front mounted work lights nestled into the top of the cab, and the cab air filters that just protrude seductively from the side of the roofline, turning the plain roundness of the Coupe cab into a majestic object of desire. But with the sunroof up, the tractor then takes on another look entirely, of meanness, power, with a bit of sophistication tied in, and would be well suited to taking Rory down the garden for a spot of lunch. Care for a drive, Your Majesty?
Well, today I got the 7810 Moen with a Bomford Bandit 6-foot mower, and it's a bit rough on here, so I decided to go in high first, which is about 5th, and I'm using the dual power to keep the speed up or down on the rough bits. I mean, the beauty of the Ford 7810 is that the dual power is so simple to use. You just stamp the pedal on the floor to bring it in and out, and to me, I feel, it's, you know, for the age of the tractor, it's such a smooth system, it's fantastic. I'm running the engine just over 540, just because of the toughness of the grass. And again, with the Generation 3 Ford 7810, you've got the digital dashboard to tell you, you know, what revs you're doing PTO, and at a press of a button, you can then find your engine revs, forward speed, etc. Which, again, you know, fantastic. That's why I love the tractor.
So, to sum it up, the Ford 7810 was one of Ford's best-selling tractor in the range, and you can clearly see why. It was more than capable of the everyday tasks on the farm, from ploughing, to drilling, to trailer work, to hedge cutting, and even a bit of flail mowing. In fact, it was much like the general handyman who could turn his hand to absolutely anything. The Ford 7810 was the handyman of the farm.